My package of belts have finally come in from eBay, and I am going to have a go at changing the belt that I put in this, which does work, but is too big and makes it run too fast. I'm going to change that for the one that I believe is the appropriate size, which is one of these, which are, if you compare to these ones, are a much smaller size. If I remember, these are 1 millimeter and these are 0.7 or 0.8. It might say on the package. I can't tell. Anyway, these look more right. I'm still wondering if I might need one size yet down, but I'm going to try changing the belt in here and see how it goes. I'm going to open this off camera and then we'll come back. I've got the soldering iron on because if I remember correctly, I needed to desolder the motor leads in order to get at the belts easily. So that's in preparation of doing that. So I will come back in a moment. Okay, you can see I've got it off, and I was right, it did need to be desoldered. And I did remember correctly, there are two belts here. There's one here, and as you can see, these are much too thick. We'll take that one away, and we'll leave this one on. You know, my memory is that I had trouble getting that one, figuring out what the routing of that belt is, although now that I see it, I think I would remember it. So what I'm doing is I'm opening up these, and let's see what we've got. Since I figured out the size mostly before, I'm fairly comfortable that those sizes are correct, or maybe a little small. Well, let's try that one to start with. I do think the other mistake I may have made, well, that's too big, so I'll need one size down. That's this one. That feels too loose to me. Oh, that may be slightly larger than what was on there. Let's see what else we've got. Okay, we've got this one. I don't have that on correctly, but that one weirdly seems a bit thicker than some of the others. Well, let's see what else we've got. Well, I think that one is it for this here. So now that we've got this one, let's take that off. Let's put this back on. Well, we remember to do that. Let's see what I've got. That looks right. Okay, so it's kind of an interesting routing because it goes around the bottom of this cog, over the top of that one, and then around here. I think this is the right size. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. As you can see, sorry, I'm not doing a very good job of framing this. As you can see, that seems to work all right. You kind of wish it was farther in, but it's okay. So then we got this one. It just feels look through the rest of mine and then decide what I'm going to go with. So what I've ended up doing is putting the one that was on there on it. I think I could make the argument that these wheels are finer than these ones, that they had different size belts on them. Anyway, I'm going to put it back together and give it a go and see how I'm doing. Okay, I've got it reassembled, which is a little bit more of a task than expected because I, of course, dropped one of the screws, which required retrieving, and it involved me removing the rest of the mechanism just to get it. But we'll there. When I was desoldering it, the iron wasn't really hot yet. I should probably really clean those pads, but I'm not going to bother. Let's do a little working on the routing of this wire. There we go, that's better. I can come up. And yellow was plus in this context. Let's see if we can tack that in easily enough. Probably should put some fresh solder. Oh, it's ugly, but it'll do. Likewise. Okay. So now we can put some batteries in, make sure it's working, and then give it a proper test with some tapes. Here's some batteries. Unlike the last time I played with this, let's make sure we're actually in tape. Which I don't remember where it is on this one. Well, let's hit play and see what happens. Oh, it says tape. Let's try the auto reverse. There, stop. That all sounds reasonable. Okay, let's put it together. Well, there it is, fixed about as well as I care to anyway. There's still some wow and flutter in it. I still wonder about that one belt, but it's greatly improved, and this is a fairly worn out player, although the mechanism seems to be in pretty good shape. There's a bit of noise also coming in, especially when it's in reverse for some reason. So you can hear some noise from the motor and maybe picked up from, you know, the fluorescent light that's up here and that sort of thing. This is not a high-end Walkman, but it is now working sufficiently to listen to something at the gym, which is most likely what its job was. So I would call that fixed for my purposes anyway. A couple of things that I noticed. I did have to take it apart and put it back in because I wasn't getting the auto reverse to reverse properly, so I had it apart again, and it was, with a fair bit of care, possible to get the entire mechanism out without desoldering anything. I still think desoldering the motor is the best approach, but you can actually remove the all-metal cassette tape mechanism that's in here. So this all unscrews with 2 screws from the other side, which you can access with the other board sort of pulled off, and then you can get at everything, which is nice. The clips that hold it together are big and have tolerated me bashing through them a few times now without any obvious broken parts or anything. So yeah, I think if you run into one of these, I mean, probably one that's in a little nicer shape than this one, but it's definitely a repair candidate. I think the question about finding the appropriate size belts, and I think it's the smaller ones for this, is the way to go. And that's that. Well, I think that was a pretty successful repair, and yeah, I'm quite happy with that. Thanks for watching.